This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it. Members of the Bahamas Nurses Union calling on government to sign off on their agreement. They say the proposal was agreed to, but now they want it signed and sealed. Today they held a press conference to express their concerns, and our LaDawn Davis was there.
Why are we waiting? It has now been a month.
Close to 30 nurses from the Department of Public Health and the Public Hospitals Authority say they are not too pleased, claiming government hasn't officially signed off on an industrial agreement of provisions and protection for nurses in the workplace. According to President Janet Kalfani, contracts for the periods of 2010 to 2015 and 2015 to 2020 were completed and signed off in a proposal by both parties in September last year. But she says on Wednesday the union received a call from government consultant Frank Carter informing them of 2 points he says he has concerns with.
One would have been injured in the line of duty. I can show you from September 15, 2014, that particular point was signed off to go into our agreement, and it entails certain sections of the Police Act to be placed into the nurses agreement in terms of overtime for nursing supervisor out in the Department of Public Health was discussed, and we had agreed to how we were going to deal with that.
Secretary General Julian Mullings is simply calling on authorities to do what he calls the right thing.
We have the problem with violence in the workplace. That is what this is going to address. Injury in the workplace. That is what this is going to address. We have police stationed at PMH, and the perpetrators, they run past the policemen with their guns, coming behind the victim in the accident emergency department. That is a known fact.
And the clinics.
It also happens in the clinic. The nurses have been ducking and dodging under chairs and tables.
Now the union is calling on the Minister of Public Service to sign this agreement by 3 p.m. on Monday. LaDawn Davis, ZNS Network News.
We've got some good news for motorists here in New Providence. Shell dropped the price of fuel 2 weeks ago to $4.31 per gallon, and now other gas stations are following suit after a memo was issued by government prompting the change to take effect today. The cost of fuel at Esso is now $4.19 per gallon, the lowest of all its competitors, and a drop from the previous $4.65 per gallon. Over at Rubis, gas is now $4.35 per gallon. Owner of Porky's gas station, Bernard Dorset, says he prefers when the prices fall.
It's always fun when prices go down, because we have to understand the way fuel is done in the Bahamas. The lower the fuel price is, the more money I make. Because what happens is, with a fixed margin, I invest less money to make the same money. You know, at $5 a gallon, I'm buying the fuel at $5 a gallon. I still only make 54 cents on a gallon of fuel. So if I invest, when it go down to $4 a gallon, that's $1 less I have to spend on the gallon.
Dorset says the drop in fuel costs is also a help to customers who purchase more when it's cheaper. At his station, he says gas is $4.29 at the self-service pump, and from midnight to 6 a.m., fuel is $4.10 per gallon. Dorset, however, says he advocates instituting a fuel price set as a percentage of its cost.
Until we decide as a country, convert our margin to a percentage of the cost so we don't have to be running, you know, waiting on this thing to happen, waiting next thing up, you know. Only people suffer is the consumer. They get beat up straight through. I love it when it drops, you know. They could buy it for less, and me selling for less, I could make more money. Okay? And that's what business is. Yes, spend your profits. That's all I could spend. I can't spend nothing else.
$1.5 million is what the government is spending on its annual lunch program in the public school system throughout New Providence and in the Family Islands. We can tell you tonight that the Ministry of Social Services and Community Development was initially responsible for the disbursement of funds. However, this has changed. Director of Education Lionel Sands confirmed to us that the funds have now been placed in the Ministry of Education's budget. The program provides what's expected to be healthy meals to hundreds of students who are unable to feed themselves.
no vendor can sell lunch or any lunch that's not sanctioned by the Ministry of Education or the Ministry of Health or Social Services. And so if you're selling lunch to our children, we're paying you. Then we're paying you to bring the lunch that we need for you to provide for our children.
The education director also announced the government's intention to further expand the feeding program in public schools.
The government has also instituted this year a breakfast program in our primary schools. And so that we've just begun that, because now we have to identify through the Ministry of the Social Services those primary school students who are in need of that kind of support. And so once we've done that, then the program we expect to begin sometime at the end of September.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm C.S. Scatterly. Roughly 250 delegates representing every level and discipline in the financial services sector attended the 2015 Nassau Conference yesterday at the British Colonial Hilton. Those gathered came to debate how best to navigate a fast-changing global environment while securing opportunities for the jurisdiction over the next decade. With the Bahamas hard-pressed to juggle many global compliance commitments all at once, it is a fair different climate compared with a decade ago when the Nassau Conference first made its debut. In other news, the Caribbean Institute of Certified Management Consultants will host its annual conference and symposium from October 14th to the 16th at the Melia Nassau Beach Resort. The Minister of State for Finance, Michael Halkitis, and Minister of State for Investments, Kalis Roll, will deliver remarks at the conference under the theme Partnership, Profits, and Performance, Keys to Successful Business. Delegates and guests from around the region will benefit from interactive sessions with public and private sector leaders from the management, consultant, and financial services industries. And in international news, a class action lawsuit has been filed on behalf of Missouri owners of diesel Volkswagen vehicles in the latest fallout from the German company's rigging of emissions technology to pass air quality tests. The suburban St. Louis firm of Jacobson Press and Fields filed suit Wednesday on behalf of 3 St. Louis County owners of Volkswagen vehicles. Like similar suits filed this week in Vermont and California, the Missouri action claims that Volkswagen owners were damaged by the diminished value, including resale value of their diesel Volkswagens. This has been your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm C.S. Scatterly.
Britain's Her Royal Highness Princess Anne will arrive here in Nassau on Sunday on her first stop of a tour of Caribbean countries participating in the Canada-Caribbean Emerging Leaders Dialogue. The Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Dr. Daniel Johnson, says all of the necessary protocols are in place for the royal visit. He also says that Princess Anne will arrive at Lynden Pilling International Airport at 4:30 Sunday afternoon and then will be taken by motorcade downtown. A reception will follow at Government House.
There will be a state-recognized reception for all the delegates and Her Royal Highness at Government House, Mount Fitzwilliam, at 7 p.m. on Sunday evening, where the Governor-General will receive her. They will exchange the appropriate courtesies. That state reception will be 1 hour. So if people do want to come out on Sunday afternoon to see the Princess, she'll be leaving the airport shortly after 4:30 p.m., proceeding to downtown Nassau, and then going to Government House, I think around 6:30, where they'll have the exchange and a state-recognized reception.
If you're looking for an Andros hideout, well, we may have found the perfect one just for you. Set in Davis Creek, it's relaxation at its best. And in tonight's BTC Island Connection, Keishla Adderley introduces us to the mastermind behind Brigadairs and his love story with the big yard.
Asked me presently when I came out of hospital about 18 months ago. And I was, my wife and myself. Jackie.
It's a mix of age and wisdom Adrian D'Aguilar wears with pride. Memories of friends and relatives line the walls of his Brigadier's restaurant, like this one from his hunting days.
I love to shoot. I shoot pigeons, I love to shoot ducks and that sort of thing.
These days, D'Aguilar isn't as mobile. He's lost a leg and partial hearing, but says that hasn't slowed him down.
Yeah, well, I'm here. Like I say, I control the day-to-day operations. I control inventory and that sort of thing, and I make myself a nuisance, I guess, wheeling around and making sure that the guests are serviced the way I would like for them to be served.
He may not be a child of the computer age, but his staff runs a fully computerized operation. His assistant can vouch for that and BTC's support.
From Pt.2, we have the internet and the phone line. With Brigadier's, which is the restaurant and bar, persons coming in, they are able to use the internet because it's wireless, and that has been very successful so far with relation to the phone, placing orders and stuff. So I must say that Pt.2 has been on board with us 101%.
These rooms are D'Aguilar's latest project in the place he's called home since 1961. 54 years later, this lifetime businessman has somewhat changed course.
I look at this as payback time. Give something back to the people. That's why I'm here.
Keishla Adderley for the BTC Island Connection.